Okay, here's what happened. A few weeks back, I got sick. Real sick. Doctors, antibiotics, the whole thing. I slept for almost 2 weeks straight and could only stay awake maybe 10 minutes. And then it kind of progressed where I could stay awake about 15 minutes. Woke up so many times with all the lights on. First, I thought it was a cold or a flu or one of those types of things. And I noticed that it was really hard to pee. So I had this big energy crash. It's hard to pee. And some days I didn't get any warning signs from my own body. So I went to the nearest clinic, did blood tests, sexual transmitted tests, every kind of test they had. I paid maximum test price, which was, I think, about 3,000 baht. And you know what? I was trying to push through. But at 64, the bill for pushing comes due fast. So I made a decision. I stopped measuring my day in hours and started to measure it 20 minutes at a time. Work 20, rest 20. Live to fight again later. And if 20 minutes is too much, cut it in half. 10 minutes is still progress. So I learned my lesson. Do what you can do and don't try to live up to what anybody else needs from you, especially at this time in your life. This is your choices. We were trained to go until we were just emptied out, drained, can't move, exhausted, and then make sure that you could wake up and do it again and again until one day you can't. When I was doing music production and you're 23, 24 years old and you're introducing synthesizers to recordings and it's going around the world, you are gonna stay up. And at that age, you can stay up anyway, probably for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, although you're gonna have to make up for it at some point. But the ability to keep going, everyone on those recording crews were depending on that everyone could remain working, functional for as long as possible to get the job done quickly and correctly. But recovery doesn't work that way. Recovery says stop before you're emptied out. Quit while you can still stand, while you can still smile, and while you have energy left in your body. Think of it like money. If you spend every dollar until your wallet is empty, tomorrow you wake up broke. Leave a little in the wallet and tomorrow feels easier. The body works the same way. You're saving energy, you're conserving, you're using what you can use, and you don't have to push beyond that. So I work 20 minutes at a time, and I stop before my body stops me. And it feels strange because the old training says push, push, push harder. But the truth is, stopping early means you'll be able to come back tomorrow. The part nobody likes to talk about. After 60, the body changes, and not in our favor. Muscle loss speeds up. Strength fades faster. Balance weakens. A stumble that was nothing at 40 can break a hip now. Memory shifts. Names slip, focus drifts. Sometimes whole days blur. Recovery slows. What used to take one night now takes a week. Bones thin. Even a small fall can mean a fracture. Metabolism drops. Fat clings tighter and energy feels lower. The organs age. The lungs, the heart, the kidneys, the liver, they all lose efficiency. Reflexes dull. Crossing the street, driving, or even catching yourself from a slip demands more caution. But here's the positive flip. Every one of those negatives has a counter move. Strength work, balance practice, reading, protein, steady rest, walking, all tools to slow the breakdown. At this point in my life, I need more rest, and it gives me restoration, brings me back. So I started going to sleep between 8 and 9 p.m. To wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. feels normal. And I get up, drink some water because, there's something's going on with your temperature and your blood pressure. And so get up, start moving right away, go for a walk up some stairs, just start to engage the day. Make sure that you're outside for a minimum of 15 minutes. And if you can go catch some sun for that long, you're doing great. Getting that circadian rhythm that I always heard about in high school and said, I don't need a circadian rhythm to function. But yeah, you kind of do. Next, we got muscle and protein. Men start losing muscle in midlife. About 3 to 8% every 10 years. And after 60, the loss speeds up. And that's the truth. And here's the part that matters. You don't need to be a bodybuilder to fight it. Small, regular training still helps. Simple things, carrying groceries, light weights, swimming, or even walking with purpose. The key isn't heavy work. The key is steady work. But after about age 55, the muscles don't respond to small amounts of protein the way they used to. A handful of peanuts or just a little piece of meat isn't enough anymore. What works better is a solid serving, about 25 to 30 grams of protein in one meal. When you add a bit of light exercise, your body makes use of that protein much more efficiently. And personally, I notice the difference. When I eat enough protein, even just once a day, I feel stronger. My legs carry me steadier. My recovery is smoother. And I don't feel drained the way I do after nibbling on snacks. It all comes down to quality of life, improving it, enjoying it, and being present in it for as long as possible. Then there's those intermittent fasting days. Most days, I don't eat breakfast at all. Not on the street, not at home, no breakfast. My body doesn't hunger for it and doesn't need it. Instead, I have that water in the morning, maybe an electrolyte drink around midday, or a cup of coffee. Then later in the day, I'll have a simple dinner, and that's enough because I'm not doing anything that demands extra food energy. And speaking of food, whole food. A piece of meat, a piece of chicken. And if it's been prepared or frozen or is in a bag, that's not whole food. It's food with additives, and your body doesn't want that. Now here's the negative side. Digestion slows with age. Too much food, too often, leaves you sluggish. And it makes my stomach hurt. Your blood sugar swings harder, and the gut doesn't process the way it used to. Intermittent fasting is one way of giving the body space. When you go longer stretches without food, the system gets a break from constant digestion, and it shifts into repair mode, clears out waste, and even makes the cells more efficient. Intermittent fasting is one way of giving the body space. When you go longer stretches without food, the system gets a break from constant digestion. It shifts into repair mode, clears out waste, and even makes cells more efficient. Personally, I've noticed that I feel clearer on fasting days. My head isn't foggy. My energy doesn't spike and crash. And when it's finally time for dinner, the food tastes better, and I feel satisfied with less. Gentlemen, let me tell you about the scariest 2 weeks of my life. I thought I had the flu, but what I really had was an E. coli infection that nearly took me out. At 64, I never thought I'd be in diapers again, yet there I was. This isn't just about getting sick. This is about how fast your body can betray you and how close I came to the edge. It started small. Fatigue, a little discomfort, nothing I hadn't felt before. But then, my bladder disconnected from my brain. I'd wake up soaked in urine, Not once, not twice. Every night. That's when I knew this wasn't the flu. This was my body shutting down. E. coli doesn't just sit there. It climbs from the bladder to the kidneys and then shuts you down. In men our age, these infections don't clear fast. They hang on, they spread, and the longer you wait, the worse the damage gets. I almost waited too long. Another few days and it could have hit my kidneys. That's when men don't come back. I never thought at 64 I'd be back in diapers again, but that's exactly where I found myself. We're in them when we're born, and if we're not careful, we might end up back in them before we leave. For weeks, that was me, every morning, every night. It was humbling, embarrassing, but it was also a wake-up call. Recovery wasn't quick. It took two things: medicine to kill the infection, and daily Kegel work to reconnect the brain and the bladder. Little by little, I started getting control back, and now I'm 80% there. Some nights I still wear protection, but I've had whole days with no issues. That's progress. I'd wake up soaked in urine. That's how it started. Gentlemen, don't wait. Don't shrug it off, because what sneaks up as just the flu can be the thing that takes you out. What are these electrolytes? What keeps the electricity in your body flowing is a balance of electrolytes, minerals that carry an electrical charge and allow your nerves, muscles, and cells to communicate. Magnesium and salt, sodium and chloride are two key ones, but they're part of a larger system, and here's the breakdown. Sodium, found in table salt. It regulates fluid balance, blood pressure, and is crucial for nerve impulses. Too little or too much throws the system off. Potassium balances sodium, stabilizes heart rhythm, and helps muscles contract and relax properly. Found in bananas, potatoes, and leafy greens. Magnesium supports over 300 enzyme reactions, calms nerve energy, prevents cramps, and helps regulate heart rhythm, often low in modern diets. Calcium, not just for bones. It's essential for nerve signaling, muscle contraction, and clotting. Chloride, the negative partner to sodium and salt, keeping fluid balance and stomach acid production in check. And phosphate, important for energy production, ATP, the body's battery. And how do they work together? Your body runs on electrical gradients, tiny voltage differences across cell membranes. Electrolytes move in and out of the cells and through channels and pumps. Sodium rushes in, potassium rushes out, creating a nerve impulse. Calcium triggers muscles, including the heart, to contract. And magnesium acts as a stabilizer, keeping the electrical storm under control. So that's my kind of go-to liquid besides just plain water, which doesn't contain these elements. By the afternoon, I'm tired. That's not failure. That's the plan. My body is telling me, slow down now or I'll stop you later. And here's another truth. Aging steals deep sleep. The kind of heavy rest that repairs muscles and resets the brain shrinks year by year. Even if you're in bed, the sleep isn't the same. I listen. I sit down. I breathe. I drink some water. I look at the sky. And that's my reset. On days I respect these rests, I sleep better at night. The naps don't steal from my sleep, they add to it. I just don't necessarily go to sleep, but I stop thinking of everything. I may close my eyes, or open them and just look at things and kind of just blank out. And it feels very restful, about 15, 20 minutes of that. And it helps my body feel calmer heading into the evening. Steady sleep routines, same time to bed, same time to rise. I know these are hard ones for some of us. It has been for me. Less caffeine, more morning light keep the rhythm alive. They don't reverse aging, but they make the nights smoother and mornings clearer. And it all comes down to that quality of life, improving it, enjoying it, and being present in it for as long as possible. Pattaya at night is a different city. Your rules have to change with it. At night, I pick one activity, walk or film or talk with friends, but not all three. And that's how I keep tomorrow coming back. And steps? After 60, chasing 10,000 steps is pointless. 6,000 to 8,000 is plenty. The negative truth is, too much pounding can grind down joints already thin on cartilage. But the positive side is, steady walking still lifts your mood, steadies balance, and helps your sleep. Personally, I noticed that when I hit around 7,000 steps, my mood is better. My legs rest easier at night, and I don't need a perfect number, just enough to feel alive. And in Pattaya, you can pick any direction and start walking, and even if you're not coming out for fun, you are going to have some fun moments because you're going to see some funny, crazy things. And it makes the walk even more enjoyable and entertaining. Sometimes you want that quiet walk, that John TM quiet walk at night, which is very, very relaxing. Most of the time I do that, I feel like falling asleep on the beach. But that's part of our quality of life. Recovery isn't just physical. Over 60, many of us are broke, heart hurt, or grieving losses that don't repair. Medication bottles line the counter. Friends disappear and families drift. I'm the last of my family. They're all gone. Most of my friends are gone. And the few that remain, they're living the fourth quarter of their life, so we don't talk that much anymore. The negative truth, loneliness is real and so is being used. If you buy belonging, if you rent love by the hour, you can call it company, but it won't heal you. One real friend is better than 10 fake smiles, and cooking one real meal beats eating out of bags. The quiet night alone isn't failure. It's a deposit into your future. Even grip strength, something simple, is a marker. Grip fades with age, but training grip strengthens the whole body and even boosts confidence. And personally, I've noticed when my grip feels stronger, I feel steadier. Small strength adds up in big ways. When you pass 60, you learn this the hard way. People will spend your time like it costs them nothing. And if you've got nice guy stamped on your forehead, the requests multiply. The older I get, the clearer it becomes. It's okay to go quiet. It's okay to disappear for a while. Not as punishment, as protection. I used to think I had to explain my no. Paragraphs of reasons, apologies on top of apologies. And all that did was advertise that my boundaries were negotiable. Now I practice simple truths. No is a full sentence. Silence is a boundary. Blocking is a seatbelt, not a weapon. Being helpful isn't the same as being harvested. Some asks are community, some are extraction. Know the difference. Attention is physiology. Every yes costs glucose, sleep, joints, and peace. At our age, you don't bounce back. You pay interest. Self-respect requires friction. If you never disappoint anyone, you're probably abandoning yourself. Disappointment is the friction that shapes respect. Here's the rule of 3 before you say yes. Ask yourself, is it mine? If the problem lives on their side of the fence, leave it there. Does it pay me? Money, health, or genuine joy? If it pays none, it's a no. Will it matter in 90 days? If not, it's noise. And men our age don't have time for noise. Go quiet on purpose. Set a 24-hour to 72-hour quiet window. No replies, no reads, phone face down. You are not tech support. Use short exits, not essays. Not available. Can't help on this. I'm resting. That's it. No autobiography. Block when needed. It's not revenge. It's hygiene. If contact keeps dragging you under, cut the rope. And feel free to say, not available this week. I'm off the grid for my health. It's okay to say, this isn't mine to carry. Please handle it on your side. And lastly, you can say, no follow-ups on this. Thanks. You are a
Your strength keeps you useful
limited resource
to
people who actually depend on you. Say yes to everything, and you become unreliable to everyone. Say no when you must, and your yes starts to mean something again. If the request ignores your needs, if it assumes your time is free, if it keeps you from healing your body and your mind, you owe no performance. Go silent. Take the time out. Block if you must. Because the point of this decade isn't to prove you can carry 10 people. It's to carry yourself well enough to walk tomorrow. Silence is not weakness. It's how men over 60 reload. The 20-minute toolkit is simple. A timer, a checklist. Drink water before you're thirsty. Stop before you're emptied out. And always write the next action before resting. One last truth. Balance matters. A small fall at 70 can take a man out faster than disease. 10 minutes a day practicing balance is cheap insurance. Stand on one foot near a chair. Walk a line across the floor. Balance matters. I broke my foot about 6 years ago, and when I went to rehab, they had me stand on one leg, 1 foot, and bend over and pick up things, pick up a cup off the floor on 1 foot. And it was the broken foot to get it to start opening up and getting strong again. And of course, the rehab started really slow. First day probably lasted 8 minutes because I failed at everything. Kept going, and it got better and better. And now I don't even know I have a broken foot. It healed completely. Personally, I noticed that balance slows my breath, keeps me upright, and makes me feel younger than my years, even if it's only for a few minutes. So if you're in the same... Personally, I noticed that balance practice slows my breath, keeps me upright, and makes me feel younger than my years, even if it's only for a few minutes. So if you're in the same season, sick, broke, or lost, take 20 minutes at a time. Walk 1 stretch. Cook 1 meal. Text 1 friend and edit 1 minute of video. Then rest. I'll be here building slow. Drop one small win in the comments so other guys can see it. Support the channel, PayPal, buy me a coffee, and I'll see you on the next walk. It all comes down to our quality of life, improving it, enjoying it, and being present in it for as long as we can. The Poor Man's Passport Guide, out.